The U of T Mental Health Student Association is a not-for-profit student-run club that aims to break the stigma surrounding mental health and empower students through their mental health journeys while also practicing diversity, equity, and inclusion. We strive to educate and promote healthy coping mechanisms among students struggling with their mental health and aim to make mental health resources a lot more accessible to students. We aim to do this by hosting events, seminars, workshops, fundraisers, and other initiatives throughout the year to raise awareness and educate U of T students, as well as members of the community on various mental health themes. So yeah, that's the UofTMHA. And Shanique, if you'd like to introduce yourself, the Black Mental Health Canada, and what kind of work you do.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Shanique Victoria Edwards, actually. I am currently a psychotherapy intern. I'm finishing up my master's in clinical counseling. And my role with Black Mental Health Canada really is quite diverse. I do some speaking engagements, as well as curriculum development and helping facilitate workshops. But overall, the organization's focus really and truly is to help bring culturally affirming, culturally safe, racially equitable services to Black Canadians. We want to elevate the dialogue about mental health within the Black community, where there's still a lot of stigma. There's still not a lot of discussion. And so there's a lot of misconceptions about what mental health is. There's also misconceptions about how to foster and promote mental wellness as well. And so our hope is that we will be able to destigmatize mental health amongst the diverse Black communities across Canada, as well as help clinicians and service providers, even people who are in places of power that can help open up doors for access when it comes to mental health care for the Black communities, to educate them, to train them on the specific needs of Black Canadians.
That's amazing. That's such an amazing organization. Your work is so important, and I'm sure you guys are reaching so many people with your work. It's really necessary, especially given the things that, have gone on these last few years. It's so important. And thank you so much for all the amazing work you guys do. I guess we could get started with the first question. So, in your perspective, why do you think taking care of your mental health is so important?
Taking care of your mental health is so important because it's another facet of yourself, right? I mean, if you have a cold, you attend to your cold. If you have a broken limb, you would attend to your broken limb. And so for your overall well-being and your overall ability to function on a daily basis, it's important to pay attention to what's happening to you psychologically and emotionally, because they all play a part, and it affects you, not just in regards to, for example, mental illness and such things as depression and anxiety, but, stress is a huge thing. Burnout is a huge thing, even amongst academic students. And as well, it also can affect you physically. So you might find that, with, the weight of a lot of stress, with depressive symptoms, for example, you're starting to have, certain GI issues or headaches. And so, we are a multifaceted being. And so it's really important to pay attention to all the different elements of yourself and being in tune with that, but also taking care of yourself.
Definitely. You explained that perfectly. That's definitely the kind of thing we like to, mention as a mental health association. So that honestly is spot on. And do you think there's a specific or a different way to approach mental health for Black people, especially when you consider Black history?
Well, I think so. There is, a huge history when it comes to Black people and their intersection with medical care and with mental health. For many individuals, especially people who are male and who are Black, their intersection with mental health care oftentimes is quite traumatic. It could be, through incarceration, they have a mental health crisis, and then police end up being called. And so these kind of pipelines of entering care kind of reinforce the narrative where, again, playing into that misconception. And so I do think when we consider certain racial factors as well, racial stress, racial trauma, these are really impactful things that do affect Black individuals. And so it is important, I think, to have discussion. Dialogue is such a huge thing. Oftentimes it is taboo to talk about race, it's taboo to talk about culture, but they play a huge part. Microaggressions, micro assaults, they can be very subtle, they can be very indirect, but they can still have very traumatic and injurious impact on the person who it's targeted against. And they also play a factor in how somebody responds psychologically. And some of the messaging that is around about Black people, about what it means to be Black in Canada, about, immigrants, all of these things play into the narrative of even some of the ways that we view ourselves. And that alone also can be very detrimental to our mental health and our well-being. And so I think that specifically when it comes to Black people, I think recognizing the impact of racial factors is really important when addressing mental health.
Yeah, for sure. I think I think that definitely when it comes to, providing mental health services to people, you really do have to consider the cultural background, racial background. I think it's very important too. So you can come from a place where you're fully aware of all the like circumstances or contexts that people could have been through, and it's really important to address those things. So thank you so much for that well thought out response.
And if I could add one thing, actually, I would say
Yeah, for
one of the
sure.
things to really consider is, as you mentioned, we have, a heightened sense of cultural awareness now and cultural
Mhm.
sensitivity, but it's progressing and moving along to a place of cultural humility, right? And allowing yourself to allow the person who's having the experience to be the author and the expert of their narrative, and leaving room for that in the dialogue. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, no, that's perfect as well. Cultural humility is like a step up from like cultural awareness as well. So I think that's such a great point to touch on. And I guess my next question would be, as a fellow U of T alumni who has professional experience in primary and mental health care, do you have any tips on practicing positivity and self-care for students, I guess specifically, but if you want to mention, just in general, that's fine too.
Absolutely, especially for students, fall semester can be not fall semester, sorry, winter semester can be a really tough semester when you think about, trying to, amp up the GPA, you're thinking about what's going to happen in the fall. You're dealing with, for example, maybe seasonal affective disorder and, just having, going to school when it's dark, coming home when it's dark, and how that can also play on one's mental health. And so when I do consider, self-care measures, I'd like to think about it on a continuum, actually. There's not one thing that fits everybody. It's about finding something where you can, either break up your day or have a pause, and reflect on what is happening within yourself and paying attention to that, but at the same time doing things that you enjoy. So whether it is, engaging in a routine, such as getting exercise, eating well, trying to go to sleep and wake up at the same time, blocking in times for you to be able to study, but also blocking in times for you to take a break, whether it's meeting up with friends and having a coffee, or just simple things, sitting down and reading a non-academic book, right? Things that you really enjoy. Those are things that are really important to take the time out. Obviously, sometimes, the time can escape us. Before you know it, you have, a number of papers to finish, you have exams around the corner. And so it could seem like it's impossible to craft out this time, but it's really important. And a part of doing that also is just maybe scheduling a point in your calendar, that, maybe on Friday afternoons, that's my time. I'm going to go to Starbucks. I'm going to bring my book. I'm just going to sit there, and I'm no academic work at all. And I'm just going to focus on something that I particularly enjoy, or I'm going to meet up with a friend and we're just going to just socialize. We're not going to be talking about the paper that we have. We're not going to be talking about, the exam that's coming up. And so really kind of truncating your time in such a way that you are focusing on self. Another easy thing to do for some is journaling, finding a time to kind of focus on maybe even 5 minutes a day, having a gratitude journal where you're reflecting on good things, positive things that are happening right now in your space, so that you can reflect on those later when you look back and you see that, right now I'm feeling super overwhelmed, but at that point in time, I did really great on that paper, or this really exciting thing happened to me, or in my family, for example, and being able to have those points that you can look back at.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for all those wonderful tips. You said that you also provided some slides beforehand
Yes.
to help out with like the resources and such. Would you be able to share your slides?
Okay. I just need permissions to share my screen.
Yes. There we go. I think that it's
Okay, perfect.
Wow, that looks amazing.
that's
I love
wonderful.
I love the colors. So
Yeah.
nice.
I thought, it can be really, well, with the snow and everything yesterday, it was kind of,
Yes.
So just spruce it up a little bit. Looking forward to spring, perhaps.
No, literally, please do. We would love some color in our lives. Thank you.
Awesome. So what I have presented here for you, actually, first and foremost, was just an introduction. Are you able to see that fine?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just, there we go. It's just an introduction to Black Mental Health Canada. Our website is there for anybody who wishes to visit us. We do a host of different um, we do a host of different it's escaping me at the moment, the word that I was looking to, but we do a lot of different activities and events. That's the word I was looking for, activities and events throughout the year. We're here really to help facilitate access to competent, affordable, and culturally safe and affirming mental health services for all Black Canadians. We do this through education, doing workshops like the one we're doing now, doing trainings for professionals. We advocate for these services and access points for Black individuals, and as well as supporting individuals. We do have a directory of therapists who are culturally informed and who offer racial equitable services, as well as they also offer a sliding scale as well for individuals who may have a financial difficulty in accessing mental health services. And so we do quite a number of different things. And so feel free to visit our website or email us at info@blackmentalhealth.ca for some more information.